parties agreed to joint managing conservatorship with Miss Pedroza as the primary, and child support in the amount of $423 a month beginning May 1st, 2021. Cash medical support in the amount of $117 a month beginning May 1st, 2021 to reimburse the state. Retroactive child support judgment in the amount of $11,366 as of today, with a payment of $107 a month beginning May 1st, 2021. The parties also agreed to exchange the child at Pebble, at a park located at 12480 Pebble Hill Boulevard in El Paso as zip code 79938. So the parties did not agree on standard possession order, and then geographic restrictions, and also the determination of disclosure of Ms. Pedroza's address and personal information. We do have a partial agreement on the, there's just one minor, I think minor issue that we need to deal with on the possession access.
The whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
I do.
All right, I'll ask the parties, you've heard what has been represented to me as an agreement. I'll ask parties, Mr. Rede, is this your agreement so far, sir?
Yes.
And Ms. Pedrosa, is this your agreement so far?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So let me just confirm with counsel. I think I didn't hear quite clearly. What is the child support amount?
423.
Okay, 423. Okay. Medical is 117.
Yes, Your Honor.
And the retroactive judgment, $11,366
Yes, Your Honor.
to be paid, an additional $107.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and these payments to commence on May 1?
Yes.
Okay.
Go with that.
I believe there was a visitation exchange at some location. Okay. Where there'll be a finding that of paternity based on the DNA results. And okay, that the court will approve that agreement, make that agreement part of the court order that is to be issued in this case. We'll now proceed on the remaining issues, which appear to be on the standard, whether or not there'll be a standard visitation schedule, whether or not there'll be a geographical restriction, and a non-disclosure of addresses in the court order. So with those issues, Mr. Vargas, go ahead, present the case.
Okay, state calls Ms. Pedroza.
All right. Go ahead.
Please state your name.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Please state your full name.
Jessica Pedrosa.
And what's the name of your child?
Julian Pedrosa.
And what's the age of your child?
He is 2.
And when does the child turn 3?
He turns 3 on May 22nd.
Of this year?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You live in El Paso County?
Yes.
Okay, and are you asking the court to have no geographic restrictions on this order?
Yes.
And can you, what's the specific reason for not wanting geographic restriction?
I am soon to be married, and my fiance, he lives in Hawaii. He is military. He will be stationed there until January of 2022. So when he gets orders, we will be moving back to the mainland.
You know where you're gonna be moving back to?
He hasn't gotten his official orders yet, but he is between San Diego and Camp Pendleton, or in Arizona, in Yuma, Arizona.
Okay. And when are you getting married?
We were planning on doing it in July when he gets back from his training course. But if
Okay.
we had to push it back, we would push it back.
Okay. Uh, would you like the court to hold your address and personal information confidential in this order?
I'm sorry?
Would you like your address and personal information to be held confidential on this order?
Yes, please.
If you were ordered to disclose your address and personal information, would it suggest abuse, harm, harassment of any sort?
I'm sorry, give me 1 second. Baby, go with Nana, please. No. Please, baby. I'm sorry about that. Can you repeat your question? I'm very sorry about that.
If you were to order to disclose your address and personal information on this order, would it subject you to harm, harassment, abuse?
As of right now, no.
Okay, so why is it that you want your address and personal information to be held confidential in this order?
Because when Jason and Mr. Reed and I were together, we ended in very bad terms just because of verbal issues that we had between us.
But for now, you don't have any concerns?
For right now, I do not.
So at this point, you're no longer wanting your address to be held confidential?
It could be, I would be okay with disclosing my address.
Okay. Your Honor, I need to ask her also about name change on the child. We hadn't addressed that yet.
Okay.
Miss Pedroza, your child's last name is Pedroza. What would you like your child's last name to? Would you be interested in changing the child's last name to Reed?
I would like to keep his last name, Pedrosa.
Okay. Would you be okay with having a hyphenated last name?
Yes, that's fine.
So you would be okay with it? How would you like it to be, the surname to look?
I would prefer Pedrosa first.
Pedroza, then hyphen Reed?
Yes.
Okay. And are you in agreement to allow Mr. Reed to visit the child for starting off? Since the child is just short of 3 years of age, to start off with 3 periods of possession that are supervised by you?
Yes, and you did say we would be able to have someone else present.
Right. But you'd have to be there.
Yes, that's fine.
Okay. And then so that would be on Saturdays, first, third, and fifth Saturday of each month from 1 to 5?
1 to 5. Yes, that's fine. So it would be there at that would it be at that location that we had discussed, the park?
Yes, that's what at the park you're suggesting.
Okay. Yes, that's fine.
And then after that, it'd go to standard possession order once the child turns 3. So it'd be 3 periods of supervised visitation. Then when the child turns 3, then and there's been 3 periods of possession, then it would go to standard possession order.
Okay. That is when I have that concern about the living conditions.
So your answer to my question is yes or no?
Yes.
Your answer, okay, my question is, would you be okay for it to go to standard possession order once the child turns 3? Yes or no?
No.
Okay, so since you said no, what is your concern with it going to standard possession once the child turns 3?
My concerns are the living conditions of Jason
Okay.
Reed.
What's the issue with it?
From the last that I knew, Mr. Reed, he didn't have any heating in his house. He didn't have any warm water. It's not appropriate for a child to live in. It was very messy. His brother also lives with him, and there was a bunch of drinking, a bunch of smoking going on. And I do not feel it is safe for my child to be around that environment.
Okay, but for that environment, do you have any other concerns?
No, that is my main concern.
And how long ago was it when you knew of that situation and those conditions?
This was when I was pregnant in 2017.
Okay, so that was 4 years ago.
Yes, sir.
Are you aware that he's maybe, are you aware of any changes as far as where he lives or the conditions since that time?
No, I'm not. I have not had any communication with him, so I'm not aware of how his living situation is at the moment.
Okay, no further questions, Your Honor, for Ms. Pedroza.
Okay.
State
Go
call,
ahead.
Reed. Mr. Reed, please state your full name
Jason Jonathan Reed,
and the name of your child
Julian Pedrosa,
and your child's age.
2.
And you're asking the court for geographic restrictions to El Paso County or surrounding contiguous counties?
Yes.
And what is your reason for that?
I believe that a child needs his biological father. I did not know until the DNA testing, because we didn't end on good terms, that I'm the father. So now that I know that I'm the father, I believe that the kid needs his father. And I believe that if I'm going to be supporting this child, I mean, at least I have the right to be able to see my child, and for him to get to know his father. And I believe that he should be near his biological father. I mean, I know if he has a stepfather, that's fine, but I mean, there's nothing like a real father.
Would you, if she moved to Hawaii or San Diego, do you think that would limit your availability to see the child?
Tremendously, yes.
And is there some problems regarding maybe expenses on traveling out there?
Yes, expenses, especially right now. I'm trying to finish off my schooling. I do have a lot of bills I have to pay. Have my own house, have to pay the taxes on that. And yeah, it's very hard for me right now. Especially if it's a big city like that or that far away. It's going to limit my visitation for the child. And I mean, it's going to be really sad that I can't be there for him.
Is that in your child's best interest, is to have geographic restrictions?
Yes.
Okay. Are you okay with the child's last name becoming Pedroza -Reed?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, so would it be a hyphen between the last name Pedroza and Reed?
Yes, that's fine. For both names, that's fine.
You heard Miss Pedroza testify that she has some concerns regarding your living conditions, water, electricity, and some activities going on at that residence.
Yeah, no, I have everything under the water.
Okay.
Everything's been fixed. I know I was remodeling during the time.
Your Honor, I'd like to object to non-response to anything after the word yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Reed, do you have running water at your house?
Yes, I do.
Do you have electricity turned on at your house?
Yes.
Do you have a bed for your child to sleep in?
Yes.
Do you have shelter that you live under?
Yes.
Is it enclosed by 4 walls at least?
Yes.
And is there a roof over the top?
Yes.
Do you have access to air conditioning and heating in the residence?
Yes.
Do you think the child were to have overnight visits there, it would be in their best interest of the child regarding those living conditions, especially in particular with the living conditions that exist.
Yes.
Is there plenty of food for him to eat there?
Yes.
What about these activities that she mentioned, smart smoking and different drinking and things of that nature going on?
Yeah, my brother doesn't smoke anymore. He quit smoking about, I would say like about 2 years ago. And he's not drinking anymore either because of his health conditions.
A safe environment for the child to stay at overnight?
Yes.
And are you still living there with your brother?
Yes.
Okay. Are you okay with the 3 visitations supervised by Miss Pedroza at this park from 1 to 5 on every other Saturday, the 1st, 3rd, and 5th?
Yes.
3 periods.
Yes.
And then after that, you go standard possession order.
Yes.
And that's in your child's best interest.
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay.
Rest.
Questions for either party?
Can you say that again, Judge?
Any other questions for either party?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Just a few follow-up questions for Mr. Reddy. Mr. Reddy, who else lives in the house where you live at?
My brother.
Okay. Who else?
That's it.
Okay. How old is your brother?
He's 36. I'm sorry, he's 37.
Okay. Is he working?
Yes.
Where does he work?
He works for like where they schedule people for COVID testing. I don't know the company exactly, the name of it.
Okay. You own that house?
Well, my brother, he basically owns it because he's the executor.
Okay. How big a house is it? How many bedrooms?
It's 3 bedrooms.
3 bedrooms? Okay. When was the last time you visited with or saw Julian?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Did you ask me when was the last time I saw Julian?
Yes, sir.
I've never seen him before, Your Honor.
Why not?
I didn't. Well, we ended up on real bad terms. We had a conversation on a messenger, and I asked her, if I could see him or whatnot. She basically said no. She didn't basically want me to be part of his life.
Wait a minute. So what do you mean by basically she said no? Did she say no?
Yeah, she said no.
Okay, so don't say basically no.
Oh,
She said no. Okay.
yeah, she said no. Sorry, Your Honor.
Where do you work, Mr. Reddy?
I work for Datamark.
Okay. Do you have any other children?
No, Your Honor, I do not.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. Any other questions, Mr. Hargis, for either party?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. The court has approved the agreement as stated on the record. I'm going to, the child will be 3 years of age in a month from today. I'm going to order the standard visitation schedule, standard possession order, with the following condition. That under no circumstance will Mr. Reddy be allowed to visit with the child if he or anybody else has been smoking, cigarettes, cigars, or anything else while the child is in your possession, Mr. Reddy.
Okay.
So there's been some requests that there be no drinking, and that's pretty much a standard order in every case that I have. I don't want anybody drinking while the child is in your possession. And if that were to happen, then that's the end of that visitation period. There'll be no geographical restriction, and I think Ms. Pedrosa is no longer requesting for non-disclosure or address. I wasn't too clear, Ms. Pedrosa, if you wanted your address to be in the court order.
Correct. If I do end up moving with my fiance, I would be able to disclose of my address.
Okay, all right. Do you want your address disclosed in the court order?
No.
I'll grant the non-disclosure. Okay. The surname of the child, I'll go ahead and grant the surname to be changed to Pedrosa Reddy. And find, of course, that Mr. Reddy is the father of the child. All right. Anything else that I haven't made a ruling on, Mr. Hardy?
No, Your Honor, that covers everything.
Okay. All right. As far as the submission of the order, Mr. Hardy, have you tell me what how it is that you want the order to be submitted to the court?
Your Honor, can I poll the parties on that?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Pedroza, would it be okay if I submit the order directly to the court? That now that everything's been put on the record, without first circulating it to you and Mr. Reed for your review? Or is it okay if I just submit it directly to the judge?
Yes, that's fine.
I can submit it directly to the court.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Hey, is it okay with you if I submit the order to the court directly, or do you want to review it and sign it first?
Yeah, I would like to review it and sign it.
Okay.
All right. So, Mr. Hargis, we'll go ahead and prepare the order. Why don't you go ahead and send it to both parties just to be on the safe side. Make sure everybody gets a chance to review the order. And once you all have received the order and have reviewed it, go ahead and sign off on the order. Return it back to Mr. Hargis so he can file it, send it to me so I can sign it. Once I do receive it, I will sign the order. It will then be filed with the clerk's office, and copies will be sent to the parties. I'll set an entry of judgment, Mr. Hargis, for next Friday. That should give you enough time for the parties to review it, sign off on it. Entry of judgment, that's what we call it, for next Friday, 8 o'clock. All right, anything else from Mr. Hargis?
Your Honor, I do have one other question. Since you granted the non-disclosure for Miss Pedroza, the exchange for the child will occur at that park in Pebble Hills?
Yes, sir. That was part of the agreement.
All right.
Okay. All right.
You're talking about Friday of this week or Friday of next week for the
Next
entry?
week, the 30th.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Okay. I believe that concludes our hearing then. This time,